Hey everybody! Welcome to Superhero Roundup on SourceFedNERD. I am Matt Lieberman.
I'm Sam Basher.
And I'm DJ Woldridge.
And this is the show, if you are not familiar, where we talk about all the superhero TV shows on TV. We're going to be talking about Powers on PlayStation. We're going to be talking about iZombie on CW, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on ABC, and Flash and Arrow, both on CW, as well as all the wonderful movie news from in and around the internet. DJ's going to give his poll list of the comics for the week. We asked you, the folks at home, a question this morning. And the question was, what did you think of the Batman versus Superman teaser trailer?
I'm excited to talk to you guys about that.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you want us to talk about what you have to say, if you want us to read your tweets, you should tweet at us using the hashtag #SHRoundup. And for those of you at home who are listening on iTunes, because this show is now a podcast, it's available on iTunes, comes out the following day. If you don't feel like watching it, you can listen to it wherever you go. My Twitter handle is @Matt Lieberman. That's MattLieberman.
My Twitter handles, this is Sam Basher for the podcast, it's at SAMBASHOR. Made it through that. Okay.
And my Twitter handle is @DJ Talks Trash, spelled like it sounds.
Yes, you can also follow SourceFedNERD at SourceFedNERD, SourceFedNERD.
If I just gave you words, would you be able to spell them?
Yes.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it is.
All the time.
When you
So-
did that the first time on that podcast for Buzz,
After Buzz?
I was like, oh my god, how the hell do I spell my name? Oh my god.
It's not that hard. We had fierce competition in my home, and it was all spelling based.
Spelling based. That's
Yeah.
fair.
So
Scrabble was a
before
nightmare.
we jump into Powers, DJ watched Gotham
Oh,
this week.
unfortunately, it's
And
so awful.
In one sentence, explain why this episode was not your cup of tea.
Wait,
gonna
hold on. He has to say one good thing about it.
One good
They
thing.
say
One
we're
good thing
too
about-
negative. Say one good thing.
No, Gotham, part of the frustration of Gotham is the production value is really good, and the casting is actually really good.
David
And so
Mazouz, the little boy.
it gives all these really talented actors just garbage to work with, and it makes them look really bad. And I know, like, Donald Logue, if anybody watches Gotham, they're like, oh, Donald Logue's not that good an actor. Watch Terriers. He's amazing.
He's amazing on that show.
Anyway, there's a scene where a serial killer is confronting Barbara, and he's about ready to kill her because he's trying to get at Jim Gordon because they love their convoluted plots in Gotham. And she's like, if you knew who I really was, you would run in the opposite direction, because she's the worst. She's the worst character on TV, and I hope they kill her off so that actress can move on to better things.
Hooray!
And then there's a scene where, because Catwoman killed a person last episode, which
Spoilers.
when Bruce when Bruce hesitated, because, you know, he's Batman and she's Catwoman, so she didn't hesitate. So we got that point already because we're not morons. But they felt the need in this episode for Bruce to be like, I would never cross that line, which is something human beings say, let alone 10-year-olds. And then Selena responded, I guess that's what makes you and me different, because I would do it again and not feel bad. Because, again, we're morons and we needed that.
And
Hooray! Spoon-fed tripe.
Yay.
Let's
Really
talk.
quick, they should have called it Little Gotham, and it should have been animated. 'Cause
It
that
should've-
would've
You
been
mean
Yeah,
great.
Lil
exactly.
Gotham
Yeah.
with an
Little-
apostrophe?
Little Gotham comics, little...
That way,
Yeah.
all the characters can act like they do as adults, because that's what this show is.
'Cause they're
It's not
child-
explaining
they're
anything.
children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Joker. Oh my god, an origin. No, it's just young Joker.
Young Joker.
So
Anyway, Gotham's still real bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right. So let's talk about Powers. Now, this is episode 9. It's a 10-episode season. If you guys haven't been watching, it is on the PlayStation Store.
And also, if you didn't know how many episodes there were, you watch this episode, it's like, oh, this is the episode before the finale. Like,
Right.
it has
You can
that
tell.
feel to it. Yeah.
very momentous. I think more stuff happens in this episode than any other episode. It's very ambitious.
Yeah.
It hops back and forth between the present and the past week, and
Kind of it's not the easiest. It's
To
kind of
follow.
muddled that way.
Yeah.
Although I believe, and I don't know if you know this and can vouch for me on this, I believe Brian Michael Bendis, the creator of Powers, wrote this episode.
does that make it better?
Well, I've only watched, I think, 3 episodes at this
Right.
point, and this is definitely, I think, if probably the best episode I've seen of Powers.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's...
I don't know if it's the very best. It's definitely the most ambitious and the most action, not the most action-packed, but
Yeah.
like I cared the most about this episode because everything's been building to this. So all season long, Christian Walker, played by Sharlto Copley, has been trying to get his powers back. He used to be a superhero, and the guy who stole him, played by Eddie Izzard, is trapped in this supervillain prison, and Sam is just smiling like a Cheshire cat.
No, because you guys talk about the show the way you used to talk about Gotham. Like when we talked about it, it's like, yeah, like this episode wasn't awful.
It's definitely. We can both agree. From what I've seen, Powers, it's definitely better than Gotham.
It's better than Gotham,
at least in storytelling,
if
not
Powers,
production value.
If Powers had Gotham's production value, it would be way better.
It'd be real cool.
It'd be actually really good.
Yeah.
But it looks cheap, and the writing is just not quite there. It's like a solid C for me.
Yeah.
And Gotham is like a D-.
Yes.
But this episode, it's this big plan between Christian and Johnny Royale, who's played by Noah Taylor, and he's the best character on the show, and he's a teleporter. And
they do a good job of showing how terrifying a teleporter would be, especially if you could teleport away limbs, because the trouble they go through to try and figure out how to capture him. You realize, like, I never thought, because of the powers, you're like teleporting.
yeah.
But you realize, like,
it's threatening.
That guy's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's impossible to catch him. And then there's that great sequence where this whole like SWAT team with assault rifles is like combing the shaft looking for Johnny Royale, and he just pops in and out. He takes everyone's guns, and then he teleports them all to Hawaii or somewhere, and then comes right back.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really fearsome enemy, as somebody who you really can't combat, and the only way that they could possibly be able to capture him is to get him under a drainer without him realizing that it was happening.
Yeah, and so there's this real convoluted plot that Sharlto Copley's character is in on, where they're trying to. He's telling Johnny Royale, we're going to go kill Wolf.
Yeah.
But he's telling his buddies, like, we're going to use this to capture Johnny Royale. And you're never quite sure what side he's on, really up until the end, because I was kind of confused about, because he seems to make the heroic choice.
Right.
But then he seems to make a non-heroic choice, but then nobody treats him like he made the non-heroic choice.
Right. Like, they planned for him to betray, the cops planned for him to betray them, but then they're not mad.
That he tried to betray them, sort of. And then we see the return of the Simons, which I think are my favorite characters.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this show would be a lot better if it embraced more practical effects and did not. Anytime a CGI effect is used, it's poor, and there's usually a way that they don't need to use it.
I've only watched a few episodes, but when they did the Simons converging or whatever, like it was like weird.
You remember, Sam, or both of you, you remember Doctor Who season 1 from 2005?
Yeah.
That's where the effects on this show are.
Yeah.
That should not be the case.
Really?
That's 10 years ago.
Yeah, okay. Well, and you think about this episode, when he releases the Simons, you see them pop out from the guy, and it's poor. And that scene would have just been as effective if they have a shot outside the door where the Simons just run out in sequence. That's all you needed. A little sound effect. You see them running out. You don't need that. There's a scene where Wolf is he what's he doing, Matt?
He's
with his
draining
little
power. So basically, anyone with sway in their body, he can steal their life force without eating them, because his blood is in.
Okay.
So anyway, it's not.
So that could have been easily done because Eddie Izzard is so good. He sells that with emotion, and then they do this weird like wave effect from his hands.
Yeah, of course.
It could have just been the motion and a sound and the other actor reacting, and Eddie Izzard's ability to sell that. I would have bought it. I don't think there is a moment in this episode that uses CGI that it couldn't have gotten away without using it.
Yeah. Like, stealing a life force you don't need.
Need a wave effect that's going to look real bad. It looks really bad.
Real quick, I just want to read a tweet out. John Arias at John3A on Twitter says, why didn't Royale just teleport into the room, shoot Wolf, and then the light? Problem solved. Why didn't he just shoot the drainer until it was done?
Why don't they make a drainer flashlight?
They tried. They made
to,
like a one-use portable drainer.
Which I never understand. I wish in one of these shows they'd explain why something's one use. Like, listen, it only works the one time. Why? Why does this only work one time, but the giant one above them is on 24/7?
Yeah.
I just want to give some quick shout-outs to the folks in the chat. Jack Monahan, the Lauren JC, Maxwell Lace, Hamza's S, Kindred Town the First, Elena Barber, Lance Cruz, Jitty 12345, Taekwon Girl, Jeremy Bowden, John Rambo.
Let's also point out that Kindred Town the First agrees with Maxwell.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's important.
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta say something to you guys. I'm periscoping live right now.
Are you really doing this? This is a podcast and a live stream.
Yeah,
we're going to implode. We're crossing the streams
we're
right now.
crossing the streams and we're periscoping. So I started Periscope. What's that?
Mike.
Talking to this microphone, Steve Zaragoza.
I started a Periscope, and people were daring me to pop my pimple live on Superhero Roundup.
I'm really.
I would really prefer that you not do that when we talk about television shows.
So is everyone against that?
Yes.
So I'm talking to the audience.
Go away.
Look at, they said Steve's coming to pop his pimple.
Go
Alright, you guys
away.
won, I won't do it.
Leave.
Enjoy your normal content.
Thank you. So basically, you know, this show, again, not great, barely good. You should check it out if you have it for free already.
Len is putting his
Can I say that I actually would have been down for Steve to pop his pimple if we did not have a giant ass timer timing us
telling us how much
that we
time we have
that
left.
we constantly
And
run down
also,
to the minute.
We're releasing this as a podcast. That's a purely visual element.
It is true. It
It's
is
not
true.
nice.
Let's just for the people listening on iTunes, the pimple was gross.
Everyone wants him to do it.
No Steve pimple.
Oh,
Do it.
God.
No,
Do
if you
it.
want
Don't
to,
do
go check
it.
out
It's
Periscope.
50-50.
If you want to go
Yeah.
check out Periscope, you can go download an iPhone and then you can go get one of your own.
So, one of the better episodes of Powers. I think solid performances all around. Are we on? We're on the same page about that.
Yeah.
One-
I agree for
better-
not watching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
better episode of Powers. I honestly feel like this is the first time Charlton Copley's accent has not annoyed me. As
9
much.
episodes in.
He's
9
settled
hours
into
in.
it.
Yeah.
He's finally figured out how to modulate his voice.
And I don't. Again, why can't we just hire American actors for Americans? Like,
Because
busy
DJ,
doing
we're
American
terrible at
things.
acting.
apparently every lead for
Americans
everything.
stink at acting, and we are not masculine.
That's why
Uh,
we're all British.
The least distracting American British person playing an American role is Liv in iZombie.
Yes.
Rose
British?
McIver.
Rose McIver is
She's
British.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah, she
for
went on a
dead
zombie
person.
date this week. Let's talk about her.
Let's talk about
What's the
that.
guy's name? What's Zombie Date's guy's name? Starts with an L.
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
The same.
Another Lincoln?
He's
Yeah,
probably
too many Lincolns.
he's probably bad. I love him.
He's
He's
good.
so cool.
I like
Yeah.
him.
As soon as he was introduced, I mean, like, not the brooding, like, he's probably the killer. But as soon as he was like, yeah, I'm a zombie, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a cool
And they go on a
element.
date, and it's so cute.
Yeah.
And I want.
I
him
love
to
when
be
she's on the
happy.
phone with him and she's got she ate an agoraphobic brain this week, so she
Yeah.
couldn't leave her apartment to go on her date.
That's so, like,
and
kitschy.
she's
It's
like
so funny.
doing like the fake phone call with
I
the
love
nose
that.
all
Yeah.
pinched, and then she's like, "Wait a minute,
You're
you're a
a
zombie.
zombie.
I can just tell you.
It's
I
so
ate a rotten
refreshing.
agoraphobic brain and I can't come."
This show consistently gets better
Yeah.
with
Yes.
each episode.
And it's
I
not
enjoy
like
it
a
more.
superhero, whatever. It's just like, let's have some fun.
This was the
with
best
zombies.
episode yet
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
I like the mystery. I like the date. I like the fact that she already knows about the zombie army that's happening, and
Yeah.
that
or
that
at least getting the idea of it. And
David Anders is behind it.
really scared for Babino in Mute Cute. I also like
I
that
was too.
the slowly the cast is instead of
DJ,
being a bunch of disparate elements, what?
Eric Marquez writes, not Peter Marquez.
Eric
Eric
Marquez.
Marquez writes. She's from New Zealand. She's not
Okay.
from Britain.
But
she's
she
from
does
New
have
Zealand.
an accent.
Other Australia.
But think,
And
seriously,
Sarah Ruteshire, she says Lincoln's hot.
thank you for correcting me though, because I don't like calling people by the wrong ethnicity. But
Everyone's freaking out that he was Arthur on another show.
I like that slowly the cast is. It's not like a bunch of disparate elements. They're all kind of interacting with each other. I really like this is the best way to do a love triangle because I like both romantic leads. I would be happy if she ended up with either.
That's cool, right?
Lincoln or Major.
Major. I always
Because
forget
Major's
his name.
dreamy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed.
is dreamy.
I
He is
missed the end
dreamy.
of the last episode when he got beat up by Flash
I was-
Thompson or
Yeah.
Flash Gordon zombie. I don't know what he
The-
was.
in that episode when he gets beaten up and then the next shot she's talking to Lincoln and they wheel in a body, I was terrified that he was dead.
Yeah, I
So
did
for
too,
those
yeah.
of you who are interested in the ongoing saga that is Steve's goddamn pimple, apparently according to Panda 2 Dope in the chat, Steve Suptic from Super Panic Frenzy popped Steve's pimple
But
for
she
him
calls him Steve Septic, which is funny because of the pimple.
because it means
And it's-
like a septic tank.
Anyway.
Yeah, and Jack Monahan says that I always say his name wrong, but if I say your name wrong, how would you say it if not Monahan?
Anyway, I liked Major Scene when he's on the table and he's talking about like I was a linebacker I'm a dangerous man and all that.
Yeah.
It's fun. The characters are fun. I like being with them.
No,
Yeah.
Even the
Babino is
bad
my
guys.
fave. I really like. Oh yeah, dude,
Yeah.
David Anders again. David Anders is amazing.
He's
Like
so
when he's like,
charismatic.
"Yeah, you want to go in the back?" He's like, "We got like a lot of gross stuff," and it cuts to the back. There's like a severed arm and like body parts
And then somebody
everywhere.
ready to like, cleaver his head.
Yeah, it was great. And
So did the kid eat the woman's meal, which is why it wasn't there, which is why she ate him because
Not
of the
sure.
expensive food. was in
Not
his stomach.
sure where her meal went.
Yeah.
But expensive food in his stomach. But he works there, so maybe
Yeah,
he
so
had
maybe
some
that's why.
just while he was there. But she couldn't wait, so she impaled him on a coat hanger.
when that
on a coat
happened,
rack.
I was so like, "That's weird. What happened to him?" And then I was like, "Oh wait,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Korak."
Yeah. And it's like, oh, he's just a kid. Oh,
It was pretty
Yeah.
poor
cool.
kids.
though.
It's not good to be a kid in this universe.
No,
'cause-
kids are the first to die in this zombie world.
But I did like it made what is it, David Anders? Is that the actor's
Uh-huh.
name? It
Villain.
made him more likable because he, even though he probably would have killed the kid in a similar situation, like we all felt bad for the kid, and he takes care of the woman. Like, no, you're all playing by my
Yeah.
rules.
Taekwon Girl brings up a good point, DJ. She says, no, he was human. She wouldn't have eaten the brain of another zombie.
Okay,
I know.
that's a little complicated. I don't know where they
Yeah, I know.
Why would
established
he
that
have
they can't
eaten-
do
But
that.
he still died
Why would he have eaten her brain, the brain that she had ordered?
because he didn't know his brain. Because he's just a human. He doesn't know. So he just eats what he thinks is a delicious meal. He doesn't know there's brain in it.
Oh, okay.
That was the question.
That's a little
which made it
complicated.
gross for him. Like he's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
delicious meal, and it's like, well, oops.
Well, let's be real.
Yeah,
they made those
Solipsist
meals look
1313 says, don't get hung up on it.
Yeah.
But that's also a great pun.
That is a
No,
fantastic-
we have
fantastic
to admit though, we talked about it before. The food that she makes with brains
That
is
looks
beautiful.
Great. It looks
Fantastic.
great.
Yeah.
And we can also all admit that liquefied brain looked gross as shit.
It looked disgusting.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Alvin Varghese at Avarg8 says, good transition. Wasn't the best episode, but a good one is coming up. Love the MMO element.
Yeah.
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 I love the little machinima sequence.
I think
I
I-
actually hate when shows do video game themed things because they
Yes.
always make up their own and like they like take out weird elements from other things and they like use like lingo and things.
Yeah.
I'm just like it seems like my dad's telling me the story about an MMO
Yeah.
that his other friend told him about because his son plays it, so it gets like convoluted and complicated. But in this, I was like, you know what? I buy it.
You know
Greg
why?
Wooten- Greg Wooten on Twitter at Woody says, why talk about Diablo 3 but not show Real World of Warcraft and iZombie? I hate video games and media so bad.
Well, because it costs money. It costs money.
Yes.
You can't just do that for free, I would assume.
true.
But I think the actors sold it really well, specifically Ravi. His matter of factness about why this is not lame, I think he bought into the world. And I liked when the way they used Skype, the way she's Skyping with Ravi when Lincoln shows up, and then when the interview where she's on Skype and she thinks she's talking to Bob and
Yeah, that
and
was
he's
great,
not
yeah.
there. And then she's like, oh, I guess he probably figured it out.
Yeah. I liked the complicatedness of the way that this guy was murdered. He
Yeah.
converted a birthday card with a confetti
Confetti thing.
cannon to
And-
spray peanut dust at him.
Not even to mention the fact that that guy worked at 3 different donut. That episode made me so hungry for donuts. Anyway, that guy worked at 3 different donut shops. But when they revealed it, it was really goofy. But how effective was that guy at the end? When
Oh,
that was because
I love that show.
Like he's like, it was worth it. It's like, yeah, I guess I don't.
Yeah, like this guy ruined my sister's life and
Yeah.
caused her to kill herself. Why wouldn't you do the same?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know,
be-
maybe.
yeah,
maybe
I
I would.
Like I don't know if I'd be that elaborate.
Yeah.
That's
It
very
was
elaborate.
very
Yeah.
elaborate.
Jackie Clark says that bloated ass dead body was so gross.
It
It was
was
the eyes.
disgusting.
The
The
eyes,
eyes and the
ugh,
tongue.
They pulled confetti out of his
eyes.
eyes. Good job,
Jeez.
CW.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Oh, Michael David L says Liv's date wasn't named Lincoln. His name is Lowell.
no.
Right.
I
His
don't
name is
think-
Lowell.
Is it Lowell?
Sam.
Lowell?
Sam DJ Matt, this is unrelated, but what's your opinion on the Smash movie? I don't know what the Smash movie is.
I don't know.
Tweet at me.
movie.
Yeah, can you elaborate?
Elaborate
on
on
that?
the Smash movie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So iZombie, great.
Overall,
iZombie,
yeah, great. I'm
very good.
I am still not excited to watch it because we have to watch so many shows. But if I didn't have all like the shows to watch,
Yeah.
I might check it out. Like,
I
I'd
don't know,
watch it
I-
at the end of the season.
I started out like you. At this point, it's like I am week to week. It's like I'm kind of excited. It's fun.
No, it is
Yeah.
definitely fun. It's not that it's not
Ooh.
fun. It's just can I commit week to week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fun comic book reference that when Ravi says that his characters are were-terrier in the game, one of the zombie characters' friends in the comic is a were-terrier.
Look at that.
That's
Look
awesome.
at that. That's
That's
fun.
fun.
So
Derek
that maybe
Gonzalez at This Kid a Clown writes, is turning into a zombie worth it if you get to hook up with Liv? Maybe.
maybe.
I'm also interested to see
We're
if
all
they
gonna die
explore the
eventually.
idea. Oh, I felt really bad for Lowell/Lincoln, whatever his name is, for not being able to perform live. I'm interested to see, like, can the two zombies hook up? Do they get enough blood flow to hook up?
Wait, yeah, no, because
Yeah, did they
David
have
Anders,
blood?
David
It's
Anders,
true, he
and
did.
that
Yeah,
What's
he
her
has
face? We're
sex
hooking
with the
up.
cougar before he kills her.
That's
in
a
this
good point.
episode.
And do we know for sure that hooking up with probably if it's
Exchanging
if
of
it's
fluids?
Exchanging of fluids, probably.
Yeah, and also you're so
I'm
excited,
sorry.
it's impossible to keep yourself from going full zombie.
I
and
still
killing
think if I were in Major's position, I'd want to know. Even if we decide not to be together, I'd like to know the reason. There's no reason for you not to tell me the reason.
I agree.
Wait, so she got scratched immediately when David Anders changed. We can guess.
Yeah.
And one time, at least a couple times, we can guess in this history, Liv has kissed Major. That's an exchange of fluids, right?
Maybe not enough.
It
Maybe
might
not
have been a
significant.
closed
That's when
mouth
it gets-
kiss.
No, because like she when she's like passionate, eats the painter's brains. Like she
Oh, yeah.
Max on him.
I don't know.
Yeah, see, exactly.
Yeah.
That's when it gets a little complicated. Like, is
The
she like a
rules are
walking
crazy.
time bomb?
Okay, Kaya and Yoti
You know?
and a few other people have written to tell us that the Smash movie they were talking about
Super
is a
Smash
Super Smash
Bros.
Brothers movie. I'm going to say this right now, and I'm sorry if this upsets people. That sounds like a terrible idea.
That does sound like a
That
terrible
sounds like
idea.
the worst idea I've ever heard.
Unless you guys make it Captain N in the Super Smash Brothers.
No, even
That doesn't
then,
sound
I
better.
don't.
That does not sound better.
Listen,
Maybe as
you
a
would have to
series?
do so
An
much
anthology
character
series?
development.
Maybe an anthology series?
a
TV
series,
Anthology,
maybe
a CGI
that's
animated
mostly
anthology
fights.
TV series? It
Do-
wouldn't be mostly
what do you
fights. You
wanna-
just go to the different worlds. It's like the Captain N show, but with Super Smash Brothers.
Okay,
That
but a
doesn't sound-
movie
Anyway,
sounds,
it's not superhero related. Let's move on to Agents of
sounds
S.H.I.E.L.D.
like a Peggy
Wait.
Sue fan fiction.
I have a
It
quick
does.
question. If anyone can tweet this at me, there is a mashup movie where all these brands, like the stork that's the pickle
food
mascot,
fight. It's
Oh,
called Food
it's called
Fight.
Food Fight?
Also,
Thank you so much.
There's
Okay,
also
I couldn't figure it out.
That one called Branded, I think, where they come
That's
alive.
an
and it's,
awful movie.
Yeah, no, I
That's
didn't
an
know. Yeah, I heard
awful
it was
movie.
awful.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right.
Wait, can you scroll up? Jack Monahan writes, "There's been a terrible accident at Spaghetti Junction. 5 people passed away." Oh, that's so dumb. All right, we gotta go to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., another really good episode.
Really
My
solid.
God, this is what I've been waiting for. We got cyborgs, we got Inhumans, we got Hydra, we got S.H.I.E.L.D., and we got Mr. Hyde, whatever he is, all in one little little sandwich.
This
We got
episode,
captured.
Yeah. This episode illustrated for me what the big problem with the back half of this season has been, and what it is a lack of focus. We have so many disparate plots and people off by themselves and trying to establish all this new stuff.
Yeah.
It was so refreshing to have just about everybody in one place
Yep.
and have everybody essentially working on the same thing.
Yep.
Like-
I also like the deal with the devil nature with Ward.
Ward's been great.
Yeah, Ward
He's
is
become
very
my favorite
effective
character
as a
on the
villain.
show.
He's very effective as an antagonist character, but also like he's not necessarily in his mind. He's not against what Coulson's trying to do. He's just very much out for himself.
Yeah. And I kind of respect that a little bit. Like, I like the character a
Yeah.
lot. He's very cool. And Agent 33 was cool.
And this is the first
Cyborg
time
was interesting.
Sky/Daisy hasn't been annoying to me. in a
Daisy
while.
Johnson.
Daisy Johnson.
Daisy
I wonder
Johnson.
if they're gonna it seems like they're setting her up to go by that name, which would be cool because that's the character she is. But I don't know how you transition a character you've been calling Sky for a season and a half to being called Daisy Johnson
Whedon-
and having your audience
I'll
just
tell you
accept that.
how.
Whedon loves to do that. He did that
Yeah.
with Angel.
Yeah,
That's
but
one of the
typically they
characters.
would become a completely different character if you're talking about the situation.
I'll tell you how, okay? Somehow she bonds with her father, and her father dies, is killed tragically, saving
Don't
her.
kill Mr. Hyde.
Killed tragically, saving her. And they're like, Sky, are you okay? And then she turns around
She's
to
like,
the
"I'm
camera
not
really
Sky."
dramatically, and she says, "My name is Daisy. Daisy
I
Johnson."
hope they don't.
That's
kill,
the end of the second season.
I hope they don't kill Kyle MacLachlan. He's one of the best parts of the
Really
show, even
quick.
though I'm not.
Real quick.
Spinelli writes, I just want to say I love the set, and to whoever designed it, it is quite beautiful. That was our good pal, Sophia.
that is Sophia.
She bought all the cool little action figures and like the Smash. Oh, look at that!
Full house applause for Sophia. Sophia turned me on to my favorite superhero. His name
He's
is
actually.
Werewolf.
We have two of them right
We
there.
have two werewolves. We have Werewolf right there on the set with us. Werewolf is what she called Wolverine once, and I will never let her forget. Okay, I have to read this because Kenna Adler at Kenna Kills has tweeted me the exact same tweet I want to say 12 times.
Which, by the way, is
Kenna.
super annoying. Don't do that.
Don't do that. We'll get to it when we get to it.
She has to make sure.
She says, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., would you rather be Mike the Cyborg, Ward the Traitor, or Gordon the Eyeless? I'm going to go
Gordon.
Ward.
Cyborg.
I'm going to go Ward the
We all
Traitor.
chose
Hey,
different
look at
people.
that.
We all
Look
chose
at
different
people.
people.
Gordon can, he's got no eyes, which I don't care about, but he can teleport
Yeah.
anywhere. And he can see
And it
the
doesn't
world
look
differently.
It doesn't look like the no eyes thing affects him at all.
No,
it looks like
that's
he
true.
sees fine.
There's a scene where he's like talking with Sky's mom, and he walks out of the room, and I'm like, he just walked out of the room. He
Yeah.
dodged everything in the
You
room
just-
to
you
get
just
out of the
wanna-
room. Smash!
Smash got smashed off the wall.
You just want to be Gordon because he has a cool voice.
Yeah. And a little
Can we just say I don't like Deathlock's giant hound-esque scarred face all the time. Would it really be that goofy to have him have a cyborg prosthetic?
Yes.
Something. I mean, like I
Like
even
He's
like
already
I even like
mostly metal, DJ.
I even like Trip Hammer's practical cybernetic arm on Powers.
Okay, that arm looks like a children's pajama, okay? It looks like a kid's
works for
pajama
me.
with cardboard inside of it.
It works for me. I don't know.
looks like
It's
a
just some
tattoo
sort of,
sleeve.
I just don't like his face is so gross. He's such a cool character. His face is so gross. I don't like looking at him.
I think it's like, you can connect with
and
it.
you're a robot. I would much if I were in his position. Seriously, just peel all this gross ass skin off my face and let's look at the machine underneath.
He
That's
brought it
cooler.
up. He brought it up with Agent 33 because he could
the
scan
mask.
it. His powers are cool.
His powers are cool.
super cool. He's got rockets in his arm.
And now they have him and
Lincoln.
like,
Yeah, Lincoln. Oh, look, another
or is
Lincoln.
it Lowell?
I don't know.
No, this
I
one's
don't know.
Lincoln.
This one is
one's
Lincoln. They have him.
Ron Corleone says, you can't pay me to give a crap about Ward. He's the only Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. character that makes me lose interest in the show. I don't
That's
know.
surprising.
Where were you at the end of the first season?
Also,
he was the only
also,
interesting one.
we probably were all on the same page when they're like, "Can you hack into Deathlock's eye?" And they're like, "Oh, they're going to see Coulson with Ward." Like that's obviously. And I also like that it's both Fitz and Simmons are the ones that are kind of unsure about the group that they're with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it too.
They're both on the same wavelength about that.
What was when they did when Lincoln was shocking Deathlock? I wanted a throwback to the Avengers movie when Thor shocks Iron Man
and
he gets like
upgrades him. That
400%
would've
power.
been-
I was like, please don't do this lame ass shit.
The
Please.
only thing I thought everything about this episode was very effective. The only thing that bothered me is Sky's on the loose. She runs out of room. She sees Deathlock and she runs the other way. Well, but you know,
Why?
he's on your team. Like why?
No,
and
no,
then
you
she just
don't.
Lincoln. And then she
No,
just
'cause
lets
he-
Lincoln shock the shit out of him.
Yeah, no, she doesn't know that Deathlock's on her team. I can't remember the scene
Everybody was on the
specifically.
same page that he was an agent. He was like he's an agent undercover. Like it seemed
Yeah,
like,
but she also just got attacked at that cabin by S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. She doesn't know where their allegiances lie.
okay.
They
I mean,
could
sure.
have sicked him on her
Sure.
because of the agents that she killed.
But the Lincoln, the
Maybe
Lincoln
killed?
Deathlock
Killed.
fight probably could have been cooler.
Huh?
The Lincoln Deathlock fight probably could have been
We're
cooler.
working with S.H.I.E.L.D. We don't get
I know,
cool fights, okay?
but I'm just saying we're establishing that Sky's ability for earthquakes can move mountains, but apparently like that's the
and
best.
kill
Lincoln can-
animals. Let's be
that's-
clear. Lots of animals died.
but apparently Lincoln can only muster like static shock abilities.
Danny
can fly.
Pachel says, can you explain how Hydra thinks they can catch a teleporter? I get tracking him, but I'm lost as how they can keep him
Well,
from leaving.
you know what? I was buying that until I watched that episode of Powers, and now I understand it's really difficult to capture a teleporter.
Right.
you
Although
can't.
I have to imagine that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not going to handle it nearly as smartly as
Yeah.
Powers. They're just going to give the
Like
show
Trank 'em or
a
something.
case of the dumb.
Wait,
a
I
case
had
of the
a-
dumbs.
I
We're
had
gonna
a-
get into more of that in the next show we talk about.
I had an idea for a second. It was so stupid. I'm like, wait, just block his eyes. That way he can't see where he's going. That's how Nightcrawler works, right? You can't go anywhere you can't see.
Yes, yeah.
I was like, just cover
his eyes.
his eyes. Oh, I'm stupid.
So here's an interesting tweet, something that I hadn't considered. Zachary Finlay at Zachary Finley 23 says, you think Hyde is connected to Tahiti because of that hula girl?
No.
I don't think
No,
so.
it was
No,
just,
but
it
it
was
was
just
cool
a
to bring it
callback
back
to the
up.
fact that she had a hula
In the
girl.
pilot.
Some set designer thought it'd be cool to have that in Sky's van, and so they used that as a callback in this episode.
I did not remember when they said that. I was like, oh,
Yeah, I was like,
guess
oh.
I wouldn't believe that you didn't have it. I guess.
Guys, we're running out of time here, and we got a lot to go
Oh,
through.
yeah.
Can we move on to the Flash?
Overall thoughts. How'd
Overall
you
thoughts,
Like
a thing you liked most from this episode, thing you hated the most?
Honestly, I like the villain. I thought it was an interesting villain. Yeah.
That's about it. I like.
Oh, and of course, Joe in best Laurel ever.
Easily.
In anything. Best.
Oh,
use of
wait,
Laurel.
he's
I
already
got S.H.I.E.L.D.
on Flash.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
I was talking about S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm sorry.
Thing you liked, thing you hated?
Oh, overall, I thought the episode was really good.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was super effective.
No, I like the episode too. I like that everything's coming together. Really quick, Hydra has been slacking because S.H.I.E.L.D. is in shambles and there's 2 of them, and Hydra just now is popping back up. Maybe
I'm
they
glad
like
they brought Hydra
look,
back.
you know, they're like, oh shit, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s not really doing so hot. Maybe I can go over there. And
Yeah,
just
they
knock 'em
really
out.
could have taken care of S.H.I.E.L.D. They could have wiped him off the face.
But it was cool that this guy was in the end credit scene for Captain America's Winter Soldier. He was in with
Baron von
Strucker.
Strucker.
Yeah, so that was cool that they tied that together.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
I like that. I honestly, I really enjoyed the episode. I especially I love the last even 5 minutes, and I love the idea that the only way Ward gets through this is if he does a Tahiti brain erase.
Which,
I
of
like
course, we all know Ward has his own plan
Agenda.
going on. I like that.
And he'll
it's a
brain
good
wipe
first
the
Flash
whole
show.
world.
Yeah. All right. So
Now can we go to Flash?
yes, go to the Flash, DJ. Easily, you're right. So we got a little visit to Starling City in Flash this week, which is like weird that we do that, but still cool.
Joe and Quentin Lance hanging out. Awesome. I could have watched a whole episode of those guys just
Oh
interacting.
yeah, totally.
And where is this Laurel?
Right. The Flash writers know how to write Laurel so much better than the Arrow
other writers know how to write our characters better. Like when you said Flash is way better over on Arrow, they're right. Remember,
Well,
he was
at
so
least,
entertaining.
at least those guys know how to light that suit
are lighter.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked him really well on a lot on Arrow.
Arrow,
Yeah,
so.
but this Laurel, this is easily the best Laurel we've ever had.
Yeah, and getting a new Canary Cry tool, which when did Cisco have
Let's
time?
give props
or
to Cisco for inventing something in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It is brand new
and
technology,
also,
never invented.
I'm glad that the characters know that there was an original Wells. Because what I'm hoping that leads up to is that when whatever happens with the Eobard Thawne, original Wells will return, and everybody's weird around him because they know he's not evil Wells, but I mean,
Wait, how will original Harrison Wells return?
because again, if he goes back in time to stop Eobard Thawne, that means Eobard Thawne can't abduct Harrison Wells' body.
I love this
so you
idea.
have a good Harrison Wells?
A good Harrison
And that,
Wells
mostly,
walking around.
I want that to be around just because Tom Cavanaugh's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think the best scene of the
Wait,
entire
wait.
episode, it was him and Joe. Anytime
That was
Tom
a great
Cavanaugh
scene.
and the guy that plays Joe are in a scene together,
Yeah.
is usually the best scene of the episode.
But here's the thing, DJ. If we were to rewrite history in that fashion, Flash would not be Flash anymore because the particle accelerator would not have been built yet.
We all know he's going to go back in time, probably save his mom, and it's probably going to. It's going to make things worse. Either he's not going to be Flash. It'd be really interesting if his mom doesn't die. If he never lives with Joe and Iris, and maybe they don't even live in Central City anymore and don't have a relationship
oh
with
my
him.
God, that's so complicated.
It's gonna hurt my brain because I just had a thought of like, what if that is one of the changes is that instead of Robbie going into the particle accelerator, Caitlin goes into particle accelerator, and that's how she becomes Killer Frost. But then I'm like, but then Firestorm doesn't exist, and he's supposed to be on the other show, the anthology show.
Serious. It becomes, but remember, it's not both of them. It's just the other half. Robbie Amell's not said to be in the crossover show.
He's not.
Yeah.
Wait,
I thought he was.
How
He
does
was
that
one of the
work?
I don't
first.
know.
He was one of the first people announced.
Only Martin Stein. Only Martin Stein was announced. Ronnie isn't over there. Robbie Amell.
But let's
or
go
whatever.
back to Flash
Sorry,
a little
yeah,
bit.
go back
I
to
think
Flash.
I think the villain was really effective. I think some of the staging of events, both in scripting and in directing, was really weak. And a lot of characters especially Barry, caught a case of the dumbs.
Yeah,
of the real dumbs.
Let's switch over to my favorite segment of the show.
It's called Sam Has a Point.
All right, so in this episode, we have to point out that, like, you have a very good point that the villain is amazing. But there were these scenes where the villain would stand there and explain to Barry that I'm a shapeshifter. Let me show you. And he'll touch someone, shapeshift. Barry's like, wow, that's formidable. And then he walks away, and then Barry's like, oh, damn. Let me go try to catch him. He's walked 5 feet. He's not super fast. He's not... The guy's not even smart. Like,
But what I love is even
Yeah.
in the time frame of him saying, I'm a shapeshifter, watch me. You could have caught him, Barry. You could have
catch
caught him.
Okay, and then he tries to break Eddie out. Great scene. Because he's like, I don't want another person to be... And then... 10 minutes later, Eddie shows up at home and he's
After
like,
Eddie
a
made
judge
that
let
huge
me
deal,
out. Yes.
a huge deal of like, I'm going to do this the right way. And then he's like, oh, a judge let me out. And Barry, who knows the shapeshifter's running around?
It's like, Okay, and then Barry gets knocked out, and someone pointed this out to me, and it was a very good point. You knocked out the Flash. The Flash can heal from a broken back in 7 hours, but if he gets knocked in the head, he's out for a day? That doesn't make any sense. And then, then Iris shows up when Daniel Panabaker and other Barry man, whatever this guy is.
Everyman.
Who, by the way, somebody tweeted me, is like, is that the question? No, 100%
No,
not
it's
at all
not
the
the
question.
question.
No, that would be really cool, but no.
Everyman
Iris
is
shows
awesome.
up, and we have the Flash suit on display. They did not hide it. They have it on display 24/7, and she didn't look around once just to look, and he's like, wait a second, that's the Flash's suit. That's interesting. I'm reporting on the Flash all the time. And at the end, like...
And then Barry starts making out with Caitlin, and after
That's
Harrison Wells
suspicious.
saves her, which by the way, great fan service moment. Those two people they have a lot of chemistry.
They really
Harrison Wells
do.
saves her, and she's like, "Oh, I knew it." Then why didn't you do something? Some of the characters act real dumb this episode, and they
Yes.
don't need to.
They
It could have been just as effective.
Speaking of dumb, I really want to get to this tweet from Gary Horman at Gary the Third. Flash and Arrow canon-wise lately makes no sense. How is Laurel so happy when everyone is dying?
Yeah.
And Captain Lance is just
remember,
fine now?
Yeah.
The episodes are. They should have aired before last week's Arrow, but that
still
doesn't
on
make
that?
things better because they're still a lot happier than what they were in that episode.
VDevo V
Agreed.
says Iris shows up at Star Labs. She doesn't have a key card to Star Labs.
Yeah. How
So
is Star Labs so easy to get into?
Star Labs has the worst security. Listen, Roy's on the lam. Can Roy be their security person now? They need a security person desperately.
Yeah.
Desperately, they need a security person.
Edwin Acosta says, I don't get his point.
The
you know
point
what? I
is-
do think Sam has a point.
You know,
think Sam
Sam
has a point.
has a point, guys. I'm an idiot. That's my point. No, it's that the characters make such dumb decisions.
At least in this episode, and I feel like
Barry has the ability. Once they dive into that, because they already took a nice swim in the whole phasing through solid objects. But he can think faster than anything ever.
Hey,
faster than a supercomputer. What?
Len, can you grab that comment at the top? New Derek WST3 in the chat says the villain is an idiot. He worked at a bank. Why didn't he just touch the customers and just go in the next day stealing what the customers put in?
Yeah. Also,
I
the
don't know.
the guy's name is Hannibal Bates. Hannibal Bates is the name of the person that we're chasing, which I feel like everybody should just treat that person with suspicion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone who has
From
the
Norman
name
Bates,
Hannibal.
And
Lecter,
Bates, yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Not smart.
So the last couple episodes of Flash have been weaker.
Just the last two. Just the last two.
cliffhanger is great, although I would have felt Harrison Wells would have had better security because apparently you just need to put anybody's hand up there and it'll
Harrison,
open.
all you had to do was
How
make
did
it
Gideon
DNA.
not send out an alarm?
Alarm
Oh, she
or
maybe did.
something.
Maybe she did.
But considering that was where we ended the first episode and now our characters are in on it, although we only have 2 episodes left.
We do?
Right?
No.
Isn't
We
it
have
2?
23. There's 23.
23
what I
episodes.
believe.
And I believe this was episode 20.
Okay, so we have 3 left.
3 left.
Where's Grodd?
He's
Grodd's
coming. There were
coming?
photos released this week.
Grodd is next. Grodd is
Um,
next, I believe.
Maggie McDonald in the chat says, does anyone notice that the mural in the police department is of the Justice League?
It's not of the Justice
It's
League
not.
specifically.
It is the Greek pantheon,
Yeah.
but when it comes to Mercury, he has the helmet that the original Jay Garrick Flash had, but then again, he got that helmet from Mercury, so whatever.
Yeah.
And then Poseidon has a trident, so it definitely it evokes imagery of the Justice League, but it's not because Zeus doesn't look at all like Superman in the design there.
Folks in the chat, please stop making Master Bates jokes, please. I've seen at least 3 of them. We're better than this.
You said it now, and now that's all.
Yeah, it's going to be
done.
more. One last tweet before we move on from Lydia M at LydM45. All I could think about was Comic-Con when Laurel gave Cisco that photo.
Oh
The
yeah, of
fan
her in
photo.
costume.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for. I was wondering what
If they dated, part of me would be kind of happy. I'd be like, it would make no sense.
Oh no, it would be a win for all of the nerds.
Yeah,
I would've been
because
so
it would make
happy.
her happier. It'd be a good balance. It'd be a good mix.
Okay, just really quick. When she's like, I'm the Black Canary, and it's like, well, I know about Arrow, and he's really cool, but didn't you get beat up all the time?
Yeah.
100%
I also
of the
like
time.
that
Arsenal
it's
does
official
better.
that she's not the canary. She is the Black Canary.
Yeah.
She established that herself.
Yeah.
She's
But that's, I don't know,
self-proclaimed.
as a comic book fan, that's cool for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Arrow time. Shall we?
Whereas Flash's last 2 episodes have not been that good. Arrow has been on a win streak.
Kicking some A's.
This episode's all over the map. So many things happen this episode.
They established so many things. Like before, they talked about the Lazarus Pit or whatever name they were going to give it. They didn't give it a name, correct? They just
No, they
had...
called it the Lazarus
Well,
Pit. Because Diggle even says, like, Lazarus from the Bible.
But
Yeah.
no, in this episode, I mean,
previously, no. This is the first time
they
we've
established the Lazarus Pit, that it can heal anyone, that it changes you, your soul, but also it has brought people back from the dead, which
Yeah.
is really cool.
Yeah. Also, you know when Merlin is the voice of reason in your episode, you're in full-on crazy town.
Yeah.
You're off the map.
Thea's in the hospital, and he comes in with Robert De Niro face, like
Oh.
not crying, and it just...
So just a quick rundown, right? Thea starts off this episode basically dead.
Not dead, though.
Not
Good
dead,
for her.
but in a coma. Ray and Felicity basically break up. So they go to Nanda Parbat to resurrect Thea, even though Merlin is like, don't do it. It's better to let her die. Although there is something to be said that if it wasn't Thea, Roz would just probably keep going through the people close to Arrow until he relented. They resurrect Ia. She has a weird, goofy snake kiss. The one part of the episode I did not
Jumps
like.
9 feet in the air.
Jumps 9 feet. That I was cool with. The whole idea of the Lazarus Pit changing you and she wouldn't be the same.
Right.
Oliver and Felicity. Good thing Felicity broke up with Ray earlier
Right.
on because finally. Which, by the way, they're not I honestly feel like the best person for Oliver is dead, and I think that was Sarah because she was a true equal.
And at least right behind that
I
is Laurel.
like Olicity. But here's the thing, though, right? They had sex. And we were all real excited about it. I couldn't believe. I'm like, are we going there?
Yeah,
we're going there.
on. And what are you gonna say?
I'm gonna say, but we need to be careful because everyone knows there's no condoms in Nanda Parbat. There ain't
Arrow
none.
babies.
The
We already
Arrow
have an Arrow
babies.
baby out there.
We do.
Oh
He'll
my
come back a
God,
lot
the
later.
Arrow baby.
Connor Hawk. Anyway, the other interesting thing is who is the person that pushes Felicity over the edge to make this happen? Ross fucking Al Ghul is ultimately. I love that scene when she storms in like I'm not gonna let this happen. She storms in and what's Nabel? What's his name? His first name? The guy that plays
Matt.
Ra's al Ghul. Matt Nabel.
Matt Nabel.
Matt Nabel. The look on his face is so perfect when she comes in. He's like I'm not gonna let this happen. He just. Give us a minute, okay?
Yeah.
And then he gives this heartfelt. Like I love Ra's al Ghul in the show because he's a bad guy, but he's so relatable for being a maniacal.
I'm sorry for making fun of you.
It's fine. And he gives this heartfelt speech about the family he left behind to become Ra's al Ghul. I presume that was the subtext of that story, and to basically tell her like, listen. This is happening. Take this moment, make the most of it, because this is happening.
Yeah. And then she did.
It made Roz
Raw
kind of the
dog
good
style.
guy. Not in this scenario, but like that he
I
made the
like
choice.
The way they portray him so much.
And he made the choice to like let his family go to protect them.
Yeah.
They are safe because
Yeah.
of him.
He-
And
well,
he's
they're
over
probably
100
long
years
dead
old.
at this
They're long
point.
dead, but I mean, at least they could live a safe life.
Also, I like to
Yeah.
imagine the witch lady that performed the ceremony was Talia, even though I don't think she is.
No, they don't have the rights, huh?
Raw dogs, Al Ghul.
But anyway, so Felicity and Oliver finally do it. Felicity gets the crazy idea in her head that they're going to break...
Drug them with what?
Drug-
Where did
I
she
don't
get a
know.
drug?
Oh, no, the one they used on Thea, she says. What they used on
Oh,
Thea.
they established that?
Yeah, which
Okay.
it seemed real risky to me because we saw that Thea was superpowered. That drug might be stronger than you suspect that it is. And then I like the team up of that whole interaction between Felicity, Diggle, and Merlin. Like Merlin is a part of this conversation, and again, the voice of reason. You're in full-on crazy town. The craziest person in the room is the sanest.
Yeah.
And of course, it doesn't work. And so Oliver, badass moment, tells everybody to stand down because he's the heir to the demon.
Yeah.
And
Loved it.
They say at the end when he's being branded with the logo we've seen since the first episode of this season, and
That was very
until
cool.
he takes on the name of the demon, he's officially the Arrow. Which, as a fanboy, I hope that this kind of poisons the water for the name the Arrow and leads to him taking the moniker the Green Arrow.
I love that.
I like it too. We have the
Scott
Black
at
Canary, we have
Sims
the Green Arrow.
Finch agrees with you. That light bulb moment when you realize why the arrow looks different in the intro this season.
Yep.
Now we know.
Yep.
I just thought it was cool. It
Yeah.
looked great.
Yeah.
I loved it. And I like that it's like a part of him now.
Yeah.
I always like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, he has so many different marks and
Yeah.
scars and things from his body. It's like, hey, you're going through a new life transition. It's time to get a new tattoo or scar.
I'm actually reading about Katana right now just because I was
Yep.
interested in the character. God, it's cool that she's on this show. I think she's cool.
I love Diggle's
Yeah.
moment of like Maseo gives him this real heartfelt thing about you've not lost a son. And then Diggle's like, what's your son's name? And he gives him the son name like, oh, would your son? Then he uses his son's name to be proud of you right now.
Yeah. Loved it.
Because Diggle's a badass.
Yeah.
John Patterson at JP Drama Kid writes, Felicity is pregnant and gives birth to Damian Queen. I love it.
I mean,
Oh,
go
man.
for it.
Yeah. So Tristan Connor in the chat says Artemis, Cheshire, or Speedy for Thea. We're all way ahead of
them.
ourselves.
Speedy.
None of them.
It
Well, I
was
mean, she's
Speedy.
already Speedy, but
Yeah.
again, Cheshire is an established character. You can't just give that to another person. You can't just get, oh, Thea, you're this character.
I don't
now.
know. Greg Berlanti's done that before.
Artemis, I could see Artemis. Just
No.
for a name. For a name.
No,
It's just
but
a
it's
mom.
Artemis
just a
isn't-
name.
that
But it's
isn't
Artemis
Artemis.
Croc. Her
I-
name is Artemis Croc.
I know it's not, but I just mean as a code.
I am interested. I really hope it seems like Thea's getting better by the end of the episode. Fortunately, we know from these showrunners that they have a long memory with Roy and his killing a cop. I'm hoping it's not just, oh, she's better now. I'm hoping there are ramifications for Lazarus pitting her.
No. She jumped out of the water and like did like she wanted to kill Oliver for some reason.
Yeah, but then she was remembering Moira. But by the end, she appears to be cognizant again, and I'm hoping there's still hangovers from that.
I liked the flashback this episode because I don't get really excited about seeing it, but like they ended it perfectly.
Quick question though: there was a cure for the thing. Did they all cure themselves before they went for the virus? So they're all
don't
going to be
remember.
fine, and that whole part of China is going to be dead as shit.
I do not remember.
I don't know, but I want to briefly talk about the flashbacks because the flashbacks were the strongest element I thought of season 1 and one of the strongest elements of season 2. But
until
they
a
have
point.
been lacking for me this year.
I
don't understand the purpose of this story.
There's so much going on in the main storyline. It's kind of hard to even care.
It feels like
about
it's
it.
purely just to show us who Maseo is and create this character who can affect the present.
Yeah, I agree that I think these flashbacks have been the weakest of all 3 of the seasons. I definitely. There was moments where the flashbacks were stronger. I think the strongest set of flashbacks was probably season 2. I think overall, this season has some of the highest highs of Arrow ever. But I think season 2 is probably the best season of the show so far. Like I think about how that season wrapped itself up, and it was so satisfying.
It was the first time they took a dive into like the weird. Like the
Yeah.
Deathstroke, like he has superpowers. He's like there's like a weird thing with his brain.
But
and,
more
like,
than
full on
that,
to the weird now.
the danger element was very present the entire time. And even though I would say bigger things have happened to some of the characters this year, and there have been a lot of deaths and whatever, there was just that I felt far more threatened by Deathstroke with his personal vendetta than I ever have by Roz.
Well, and again, Roz has just now become the season antagonist.
Yeah, it took him a while
to get to that. And also, again, like Roz isn't crazy like Slate. Roz is, I wouldn't say reasonable.
No, he's not reasonable,
Yeah,
but everything he is doing makes sense.
You can realize
to a
stuff from
degree.
his view because he's very much a forest instead of the trees guy.
Yeah.
I will also say when you look at an episode like this, I before we started there were some comments people were ragging on me for saying that I think Arrow's a better show than Daredevil. You look at it, the ambition for this CW show, the ambition of its plots, like the fact that with all the resources Daredevil had behind it, that it never got more ambitious than it did is disappointing. The fact that a CW show is schooling you in sheer scale, like could you imagine Daredevil ever having a plot line like the end of season 2?
With
what they do with
Star drone and everything.
they basically destroy Starling City. They can't even do that in Daredevil because it's New York and half their heroes live there.
Right.
You know
So
what I mean?
if they were going to do that, then someone would help.
Yeah,
complicated
somebody
part
would
because
Well,
drop
that's
in.
what the Defenders is going to be. The Defenders is going to be a season-long arc of
But
big
again,
stuff.
that's the Marvel always plays that like, oh, you want this cool thing, you're gonna have to wait for the
Wait
the
4
beauty
years.
of these CW shows is because they're either self-contained or they only cross over with each other.
No.
They build to their own crescendo.
That's the big
Okay.
thing. No, it's a self-contained thing. With the MCU, it's a waiting game.
Right. You get one final thought, and then we have to move on.
Excited for the rest of the season. Solid episode and previous episode too.
I still think of the shows we review on this show, I think Arrow is the best.
Okay, so we asked you a question, the question of the day, and it was, what did you think of the Batman versus Superman trailer? Sam, would you like to start us off, please?
Okay, so I was really excited. I'm staying hopeful for this movie, and
Because
this is
you're the
just
hopeful one in this group.
I am.
You're
I'm
the
the
hopeful
optimist. I'm the optimist.
You're Optimus
all
Prime.
Yeah.
So it starts out kind of cool, but like, it didn't. It's a teaser, and it's meant to make me excited for the next trailer or for this movie in general.
No.
I wasn't. I am now expecting a Law and Order type superhero movie. That's what I got from this. Is like there's like these weird threats that I'm not taking as threats. I'm not seeing any real reason for any of this to happen. Like nothing in that grabbed me. Nothing.
You know, Zack Snyder typically has trailers that I fall in love with,
Yeah.
and then I walk out of his movies
Disappointed.
mixed at best, with mixed feelings at best. And damn it, if he's not doing like
He did the opposite.
no, for me, I actually really like the trailer. If it can capitalize on the ideas that are presented in this trailer, there's a lot of interesting ideas presented. The idea that there's a contingent of people that would worship somebody like Superman, and so not only do you have the idea of the world dealing with if a man like Superman suddenly showed up, the world dealing with that, but Superman dealing with the world and how they view him. That's fascinating. And the fact that you would have people, that tide would turn and suddenly those people would start hating him. So that suddenly, like, if a hurricane hits your city and Superman's not there, well, where was he? Well, he was saving other people, but you don't care about that. It was your city that got hit by the hurricane. And so that backlash and the possibility of Lex Luthor manipulating situations where Batman feels the need to step in, that's fascinating. And I feel like if you capitalize on it, it could be really good. Do I think they will? No. But I will say that I really liked the trailer, and then I saw a trailer breakdown that basically talked about every single, like excited about things that would be my worst nightmares. Like if those soldiers that bow to Superman work for him, that'd be the worst.
No,
if it is Batman's Batwing, because they have Superman's logo on their arm. So hopefully it's like hopefully like it's the hockey pad brigade from the Dark Knight where they're like, hey, we're doing this for you, and Superman's like, you don't. And the fact that the Batwing, what we think is the Batwing in this trailer, straight up murders people.
Yeah.
Like there's no way around
That's
it.
not fair, okay? Batman's like, I have guns on things, but I don't shoot people. I know it's meant to
the
take down
Batmobile
walls.
always has guns on it
Yeah,
for
why does it
some
always have guns?
unexplained
Well,
reason.
okay, Zack Snyder has the world's biggest boner for The Dark Knight Returns. And a lot of people are excited about that.
A lot of imagery from, and which
Yeah.
scares me because now the sequel to the first of this world, the sequel to Man of Steel, you're basing on The Dark Knight Returns, so it's basically going to be a Batman jerk. We've got that. Batman's had his movies. I mean, come on.
Okay.
But he hasn't had this kind of.
All right, hold on. We need to read some tweets and some stuff from people because they reached out to us, okay? And then I'm going to give my thoughts. Jeff Clark at Kamikaze Jeff says the leak of the trailer undercut any buzz. The trailer is too grim. Batman and Superman should contrast, not both be dark. Well, here's the thing.
Agreed.
Superman, he's not dark. He's not happy,
Yeah,
but he's not dark.
that's
The
true.
movie was dark,
Yeah.
but he's a person who wants to be a beacon of hope, but is wrestling with the responsibility of doing so. I thought that in terms of characterization, Man of Steel actually worked very, very well for me.
Agreed.
I would agree with that. I don't know why I'm agreeing with my own point.
Yeah.
But here's
You're
how I
agreeing with
felt.
me agreeing.
I watched the leaked trailer and I was like, this is garbage. Then I watched the official trailer with the HD and with the quality audio, and
Did it change?
it actually improved for me.
Also,
It improved
apparently,
a lot.
I heard people that saw it in IMAX disappointed by the leak because it's like if people had seen it in IMAX first, it would have probably changed the conversation people were having about the movie.
Yeah.
You know what? That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. I would like to hear from people who did the 15-minute screening on Monday because it would have been awesome. Like they've seen things we haven't seen. They were
Not
excited.
much.
Not
It was
much.
the Zack Snyder interview and like a second of them running at each other. And that was the only difference from the trailer.
Yeah. But here's what I like. Here's what I don't like. Again, like DJ, I like the ideas that are played with in this trailer. I like Jesse Eisenberg's voice as Lex Luthor.
You do?
I mean, look, it's not Clancy Brown. We're never going to get Clancy Brown as live-action Lex Luthor, even though that would be perfect casting because he was the best version of Lex Luthor that's ever existed. freaking. I love Superman the movie, but Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor ruins it for me.
He's a jester.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I just rewatched The Social Network.
Yeah.
I just rewatched The Social Network on the flight back from New York this week.
Don't make that face. The Social Network's a
Social
good
Network
movie.
is
but
as
he's
close
not Lex
to a
Luthor.
perfect
He's
movie.
Mark Zuckerberg.
He's Mark Zuckerberg. But here's the thing. In this world that they're creating, whether we like it or not, it takes place in the now. And the kinds of people who are building companies and making crazy knee-jerk decisions like this guy deserves to die are people like a Mark
fair.
Zuckerberg who have tons
That's a
of
good
money
point.
and are super smart but are misguided because they didn't grow up properly.
Or they're old as dinosaurs.
We just need Mark Zuckerberg to now dress up as Lex Luthor for Halloween.
I think that's an amazing
Please,
idea,
and then
he
Jesse
totally
Eisenberg shows
should.
up.
Yeah. But the best shots in the whole trailer for me are Ben Affleck staring off into space and the one shot of Batman moving. Those are both great.
Also, glad to be done with the weird armored Batman suit. Like, it looks like the plating that we were talking about for Daredevil. Like, glad that's not a part of his
Right.
suit.
Although robot armor Batman, not crazy
Not a
about.
fan.
I think that
and
looks
robot
cool.
voice Batman is stupid.
No,
to
it
be fair,
is not.
to be
It is
fair,
not
to be fair,
stupid.
we do not know for certain that that is Batman.
Wait. Did you please? You will.
We do not know for certain that that is Batman. But
Can
that's
we
his
come on.
voice.
Can we assume?
can assume,
It's Batman.
but we don't know
Assuming
for
makes
certain.
an ass out of you and me, but I can be an ass right now.
Guys, we are running out of time, and we actually have a shit ton still to talk about.
Yes,
Daredevil has been brought back for a
For
second
second
season.
season.
Completely new showrunners.
That
Yes.
We're writers on the show. They did not. Some of the episodes they wrote, they each wrote 2 episodes. Some were good, some were not as good.
Which episodes did they write?
The Stick was one of them.
Okay,
Stick was
good
okay.
episode. It was
fine.
I rewatched Stick recently. Not as so good on the rewatch. But Stephen Knight, hands down, wrote 2 of the weakest episodes.
And he's
which was the Kingpin flashback episode, which was very not great, and also the season finale, which in my opinion was not
weak.
It
very
was
not
yeah,
great.
they were just okay.
So no offense to him, I'm kind of glad they're moving in a new direction. It would have been great if Drew Goddard had come back because he definitively wrote the best episodes of the season. I would like to see Elektra. I would like to see Bullseye. I would like to see them get more ambitious.
Oh, wait, and that's what we've been teased. One of the showrunners or somebody from the show did say that Bullseye and Elektra will be focuses in the second season if they do
Please.
get a second season. So, and we expect that in 2016.
Hello,
I
Mitchell
believe
Fojas
so. I
Gomez.
believe so.
Yeah. Other big news this week: Spider-Man. There's a short list of people that they're considering for Peter Parker.
A bunch of baby faces.
Asa Butterfield is the only one that I recognize.
That's a great name.
Asa
Oh,
Butterfield.
and Nat Wolff from Fault in Our Stars and Paper Towns.
Yeah.
Yeah, blind guy.
Also, Common has been cast in Suicide Squad as an unknown role, and I honestly think it's Jon Stewart.
You really do?
Yeah, I don't think because if you think about it, you can't fit one more character than Batman.
And
to
he
be
was
Superman.
supposed to be Jon Stewart in the George Miller's Justice League from years ago.
And also,
Really?
honestly, I think he'd be good in the role. He's got he's
He would
not
be
necessarily
great in
the
the role.
best
Make
actor
him-
in the world, but he's
yeah.
got so much charisma. Like he's good on
He's
screen.
got great
He can,
presence.
Yeah,
he can
he's got
do
great
a good
presence.
Jon Stewart.
And also Jon Stewart was a soldier. It wouldn't surprise me if he's running around with a soldier as a soldier in Suicide Squad.
Chili613 says that Charlie Cox wants Punisher in season 2 of Daredevil.
Please.
And I agree with Charlie
Please,
Cox.
I really desperately want to see Charlie Cox interact with Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow. Those 2 characters have a long history
That'd be
together. I
cool.
think they'd have good chemistry. Let's make a Black Widow movie with Daredevil as her sidekick. Let's have her. If we can get Sam Jackson on S.H.I.E.L.D., why can't we get Scarlett Johansson for 1 episode of Daredevil?
one.
I mean, come on, it'd be great.
Also, there's going to be a animated Spider-Man movie
Which
in
I don't know how that
2018.
fits in the whole.
But it's from Phil Lord and Chris Miller,
As
who are
producers.
doing all the best comedy stuff right now.
That is true.
And probably the Flash movie.
That would be great if they
Yeah.
cast them as the directors, and also it would break the DC's no jokes rule. 'Cause
I
you
would
don't
agree with
cast
that.
them and not have it fun.
I just want to reference one more tweet, and then we're going to wrap things up with the pull list. I'm sorry, we're out of time. Garrett Farney at GNasty34 says, "Did you guys notice that Batman had a sniper rifle when he was on top of that tower? Not a sniper rifle. It's that cable gun from The Dark Knight Returns."
which, although it's probably that, it would also not surprise me if Zack Snyder had Batman
Batman
just
with
murdering people. It's probably the cable gun. Please let it be the cable. Please let it be the cable gun.
Yeah.
I really want this
Shoots
movie
a
to be
dude.
good.
He shoots a dude. Oh my god.
And DC desperately needs this movie to be great. They need it. So I
Could
feel
this
like they're
derail-
putting a lot of.
Yes.
Could this derail the DCCU?
It would not stop the Suicide Squad from happening, but it could cause major shakeups.
Yeah.
I think that's why they and Ben Affleck really wants this to be good, which is why I'm assuming that his Argo writer is in as the one cleaning up the
Chris
script. And everything.
Terrio.
And so I'm hoping for big things.
And really quick, I've gotten tweets that we're haters on like Marvel or DC. We love both.
Yeah.
Okay, we love both. DC's got better TV shows right now aside from Daredevil, but Marvel's got more successful movies.
Yeah, I think
because
just
they have movies.
The key
have
element.
movies.
The key
There you
element
go.
is, and look, we talk about the things that are wrong often more than the things that are right, because we care about these properties so much that we aspire for them to be the best things ever. We're not willing to settle.
And I also think that we're looking at these stuff as thoughtfully and critically as we can, and I think we kind of respond to the fan base, which is all like, "This is the best thing ever." And it's one of those like, well, calm down for a second and think about it critically.
It's like,
and
what if it could be the best thing
Yeah,
ever?
what if it could be better? Because I liked it. I'm stoked for the second season. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Hopefully they improve on stuff.
Okay.
We need to wrap stuff up.
Pull list.
They're also releasing DC and Mattel are releasing a action figure line specifically targeted toward girls, which is mixed. Like, why specifically toward girls? Like, can't you just have action figures and make girls buy them as well?
Money.
But the designs are really cool, and so I mean that's
And
awesome.
because
It's dope.
freaking girls need more action figures.
And it's that's what I'm saying. But could you just why it's like going to be like DC Universe for girls?
It's because it's because of the criticism that they get, DJ, for ignoring women in the past. So now they're saying, "Look, we're for women," instead of saying, "Look, we're for people, everyone."
Exactly. But again, the designs are really cool, and it is really exciting to see female designs that aren't super sexualized.
Yeah.
Even male designs in superhero comics are very sexualized, and it's cool to see. Whatever. Anyway, it's cool. And if the action figures are as dope as a design, I will buy a few. Big week, huge week next week. Even though DC's in the middle of a Convergence event, they're releasing a couple non-Convergence books. Batman 40 is the end of their Endgame comic, where Joker is taking out all the stops and really trying to undo Batman, and could lead to the new Batman, which was already spoiled, but I'm not going to spoil it here. Justice League 40, which is the beginning of the Darkseid War, where the Darkseid throws down with the Anti-Monitor, and the Justice League is caught in the middle of that. Huge storyline there. Multiversity 2 is the end of Grant Morrison's epic, amazing, best thing DC's put out all year. Multiversity line, it's the best.
What a nerd.
Over also Superman 40, which is John Romita Jr. both writing and drawing it. Bitch Planet is being released over at Image, which is a woman in prison, a sci-fi women in prison type story. Really cool. If you're into really badass chicks beating the shit out of each other, read that. And over at Marvel, they're wrapping up a lot of their books in preparation for Secret Wars. So it's the last Fantastic Four book we're going to get for a while, because Marvel's pissed that Fox won't let them use them. And New Avengers is wrapping up. And a new issue of Daredevil. So if you like the Daredevil show, you're probably going to dig the comic, although it's a lot lighter in tone. Check that out. And then Valiant, which you guys did a new story on that. They're making movies. If you want to check their stuff out, I highly recommend checking out Quantum and Woody Must Die, because Quantum and Woody
You
is
love
great.
You love that.
You
love
love
It's my
that
favorite
comic.
Valiant.
All
It's
right.
my favorite Valiant book.
Guys, we got to wrap up. Everyone's saying we didn't talk about the Fantastic Four trailer. The new trailer, I think, is a lot better.
It looks like a more generic superhero movie, which is both good and bad.
Yeah, I like it.
Loved it.
I like everything except for Dr. Doom in it. All right.
His face is
The
really
thing
weird.
even looked good.
We gotta go. But so folks, if you enjoyed this show, if you're listening to us as a podcast, we do this show live video on SourceFedNERD on YouTube every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We always tweet out the question of the day that morning, so be sure to follow all three of us on Twitter to get at that. I'm at Matt Lieberman, once again, MattLieberman.
I am Sam Basher on Twitter at Sam Basher.
I'm DJ Wooldridge on Twitter at DJ Talks Trash.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Flash, say bye.
Say bye,
I'll be
Flash.
sure to give this a thumbs up, or to rate and review the show on iTunes.
Or share with your
Hey, look
friends.
at
Check this out. Share with your friends.
Share with your friends.
Sam hates DC. Are you dumb? Look at this. What am I playing with?
And Miles Morales isn't going to be in season 2 of Daredevil. It's just not going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I
Stop
don't
it.
expect to see Miles Morales for a good long time in anything.
Yeah.
Guys, we did it.
We did it. We made it.
Sam has a point.
Sam does.